I wish Glock would put more rounds in the 43X. All right, guys, we're back. We're back with another awesome episode. In today's episode, we're looking at the Taurus G2C. This is a nice little budget-friendly gun, and we're going to be going over some of the things I like about this gun and some of the things I don't like about this gun. So let's jump into it. All right, guys, little safety check there, clear chamber, it's all good, no magazine, this and that. So some of you guys are noticing right off the bat, this is the colored version. I believe they call this the teal. It's a really sweet color, as you guys can see there. And with this color slide on top, I think it makes for a great color combination. It's pretty cool. The drawback of this color is it does get dirty easy. I don't know if you guys can see. And it hasn't been cleaned since the last time it was shot. So, you know, some of the lower polymer frame will get a little dirty if you do have this color. So it might require a little more cleaning if that kind of stuff bugs you. So anyways, this is a striker fire polymer bottom pistol, kind of similar to, say, a Glock, but the trigger is a bit different here because it's a double action trigger. So you can repeatedly pull the trigger on this weapon and it fires the pin every time. So this type of weapon would be great for the Mantis training system because every time that you fire when you're practicing with the Mantis system, you have to rack the slide every time, so to get it to fire again. With this gun, you can just train without having to rack the slide, so that would be pretty cool. Another cool feature of this gun, if you're into that kind of thing, it does have a slide lock safety. So when you engage the safety here, it does not allow you to pull the trigger. So you got that. The other thing that's pretty cool about this gun is it has adjustable sights here. So you can adjust the windage on this. I don't believe you can adjust the elevation, but they're kind of similar to Glock style sights up front, but not on the rear. The rear has a very large section here, so you can't put like Glock sights on this or whatever. And that's one of the difference is between the G2C and the G3C. The G3C, you can put rear Glock sights on it. So just for your information. Another cool feature, when I shot this gun, I noticed right out of the gate, it has a really nice indicator on it. And I can kind of simulate that with my finger if I lift this up right here. So when there's a round in the chamber, this little lever here comes up, and it's a little bit red on each side, so it lets you know, hey, there's one in the chamber, and that's pretty cool. And the Glocks have that too, but it's not as pronounced as this. And I don't know if a lot of people are aware of this, but on a Glock here, look at this one because it's a little bit easier to see. Again, safety check. I have no magazines. I have no live rounds or anything either here. So on the Glocks right here, the indicator is this little piece right here. And the cool thing about a Glock is, you know, if it's nighttime or whatever, you can't look at the gun, so to speak, you can rub your finger over that and you can feel it. So if it's recessed a little bit, like you can feel there's no round in the chamber. When that becomes flush, basically with the end, it might protrude a hair, but it's basically flush. That lets you know that there's a round in the chamber. So that's one difference about the Glock. And we're going to be comparing this gun here in a minute, size-wise and weight-wise, to the Glocks, just to let you guys know. The premise of this video is just to kind of show you this gun, kind of show you around this gun, because it's a super cheap entry-level gun that I feel has a solid reputation for being what it is. Now, this is a Taurus, and I know that Taurus doesn't have the best reputation. This is a Brazilian gun made in Brazil, and I know Taurus went through some crap. They went through a big class action lawsuit, and then they went through a bunch of restructuring within their company and whatnot. So it's not the best, you know, it's not the best look, I guess you can say, for a gun manufacturer to be having those problems. They also had a huge recall on one of their P guns. I'm not exactly sure what the model was, but you know, that was then and this is now. And I think these G series guns are pretty reliable. I've watched quite a bit of videos and reviews on them. and it seems like, you know, it's a decent shooting gun, especially for what you pay for it. We got this gun here, we paid $199 for it, and we ordered it from Pomalo State Armory, PSA. And I think the gun retails for around $250 to $275. Now, when you order, you know, when you order from PSA, you can find some great deals on there, but you got to remember you're going to be paying a transfer fee. So the transfer fee for us at our local gun shop is $40. So there you go, plus the background check. So you're right there at $250. You might be better off if you can find it for $250 just to buy it in the store. You know, save a little bit of time and effort there. But if you can't find it for that cheap, then yeah, you can get them off PSA for this was on sale actually, so I think now they're right around $250, $240 in that ballpark on PSA, but we got this on sale. I thought, hey, this is a great deal. It shoots fine. We haven't had any issues. Now again, we don't have 1,000 rounds through it yet, but we do have a couple hundred rounds through this weapon, and I've shot it. My wife shoots it. This is technically my wife's gun or whatever, but yeah, it shoots fine. When I shot it, you know, after coming off the Glocks, the trigger was a bit different. You have to pull more. So the trigger on this, like you can see, there's quite a bit before you get to the wall. You see that? Like that would almost be a full trigger pull on a Glock. But there's the wall, and then there's the click. Now, the reset isn't that bad. See the reset here, if I could show it to you guys. Right there, and then you're right back on the wall after the reset, and then click. So, you know, after your first initial pull, if you can keep it there close to the reset, you'll do a lot better, I'm sure. But yeah, just getting to that wall, we'll see that's on the double action now, so it feels a lot different. So you won't necessarily be feeling that if you're shooting. So if I rack it again here, you can see that like getting there is quite a bit of movement, and then you still got the little squishiness afterwards. So I've heard a lot of mixed reviews about this trigger. Actually, it was kind of surprising because in general, people say, oh, you've got to upgrade the Glock triggers and whatnot. And a lot of people on this gun are saying, hey, it's fitting and it's working for them. With me personally, like I said, I haven't shot it that much, but it didn't work too well for me. I was dipping the gun down quite a bit, but it's something I'm sure I could work on and get comfortable with. And get used to that type of trigger and that kind of thing. So slide lock, you only have one slide lock. It's not ambidextrous, and I'm not sure about the mag release if you can swap it out or not like you can on a Glock. I didn't even look that far. If you guys know that, you guys can post down in the comments below. Feel free to comment about anything. The stippling, the grip on this gun is really awesome. That's one thing I really like about this gun is just it's grippy, and it's done, you know, in certain spots, so it looks good. And it's a really good grip. I actually wish my Glock was like that, especially my 43X, because yeah, I can get with that grip. Now, if you guys notice without the magazine in there, you guys can see how short that handle is there. So you cannot grip that unless you put the magazine in. So the magazine supports your pinky finger on this. So, you know, if you have big hands, I don't know, you might want to look at it first. And there's a bit of an undercut here to help out with that and whatnot. And there's a little bit of a cut here, but there's no traction here or anything. So, and you do have, as you can see, you got some little gas pedals built in. They're on both sides of the weapon here. And, you know, it's got the recessed thumb right here or whatever. And that thumb right is on both sides. And this gun feels good. It feels good in the hand. This gun feels better in my hand than a stock G43X would. So there's that. Breaking this gun down. Let's get that magazine out of there. Let's talk about the magazines real quick while we're playing with the magazines. It comes with 2 magazines, and these are 12 rounds. And I'm going to show you guys something kind of interesting here that it's a bit annoying being a Glock owner. Here's a stock G43X 10-round magazine. And you guys all know the thing about the 10-round magazines and the G43Xs, blah, blah, blah. If you guys don't, check out my video when I talk about magazine capacity and upgrading magazines for the Glock 43X. You guys can find it posted up in the top, wherever, maybe one of these sides. But I tell people in that video that there's a reason why maybe Glock didn't make a 15-round magazine or even a 13 or 12-round magazine for the 43X. Before I made this video, I was just thinking about that out loud, and I was thinking, you know what? If they made this a 15-round magazine, they probably wouldn't sell as many Glock 19s. And I think Glock 19s is like one of their best-selling weapons. Really, why would you kill that market by adding more capacity to this gun. I don't know, it could be a marketing engineering thing versus mechanical engineering. Anyways, going back to that, if we look at these magazines here, 9mm, all the same, and you can see right out of the gate that this one's shorter. Okay, this is a double stack. So depending on where you measure exactly, I mean, this is right at 800 thousandths, give or take a little bit. And this is just barely over 800 thousandths. And if I click it like that or whatever, I can get 800 thousandths. So they're essentially the same thickness here. This one's shorter, and then they have the same width on them. So the size is there. Like, there's room in this magazine for more cartridges. And I think everybody knows that. And it just perplexes me why they couldn't do that. So anyways, these hold 12 rounds. Keep one in the chamber, so 12 plus 1 or whatever. There's no indicator on the back. These are metal. You get 2 indicators here. It says 6 and 12. You load it up. It's got orange followers, which is nice. And again, yeah, these are steel and that kind of thing. So I wish Glock would put more rounds in the 43X. So yeah, going back to this gun, breaking it down, it's identical to a Glock. So rack it, pull the trigger, you can grab it like this, slide it back about 1/4 inch, and you have 2 slide releases right here on both sides, and you push that forward. There you go, you have the lower section there. You have a dual spring here, just like a Glock. Pull this out, and yeah, that looks polymer too, like a Glock would be. We got our barrel there, which I'm not sure the length on this barrel. I thought it was 3.5. It's coming in at 3 1/8, so maybe it's shorter than that. That's a really short barrel. It's shorter than I thought it was going to be. But yeah, there's a slide. Your typical striker fire slide. I mean, it goes together and disassembles just like a Glock. So that's pretty cool. You can see kind of the internals in there and that kind of thing. So really the only difference being this slide lock safety here. So yeah. We'll look at some sizes right now, size comparisons. I think that this weapon, and I know a lot of the gun tubers I watch, they carry, this is their concealed carry. And, if you look at the price versus some other Glocks, and if you can't afford a Glock or you're in a tight spot right now, then looking at this weapon will be a good choice. You guys can see some of the dirtiness on the blue that you necessarily wouldn't see so much on a black polymer frame, But yeah, it comes with the territory, so. All right, so yeah, back together. Let's look at a couple. This is my carry piece right here, my 43X. A little safety check there, whatever. So comparing these guns together, you can see here that the Taurus is thicker, okay? But if we look here, we're gonna say that a 19 would be a little bit thicker than this. This is kind of like in between, right, as far as the thickness goes. And we talked about that in my other video about how important the thickness is of a weapon if you're concealed carrying inside the waistband. That goes a long way. So I believe this one was just over 1 inch, and this one was just around 1.25 inches. This one should be 1 1/8. I don't know. Yeah, it's right there. It's almost 1 inch and 100 thousandths, so not far from being 1 inch and 1/8. And then if we look at barrel length here, we can see that the slide lengths are pretty much identical. You're not going to find any difference. Yeah, coming right in at 6 inches on both of them. So you guys can see that there. All right. And then let's put the magazine in this one. And you can see right there that they're coming in right at the same height. I mean, it's just barely off. I don't know if you guys can see that there. So yeah, these are very close in size. So right there, just measuring square, 4.5 inches, and that's 4 3/4 down to the bottom here. So just a hair bigger than a 43X, and a little bit smaller than the 19. This is the 19X, so it has the longer grip here or whatever. So yeah, nifty little gun for a couple $100. It doesn't break the bank. Like I said, we haven't had any reliability issues with it. We were, you know, shooting ball ammo through it or whatever, and I'm pretty sure we shot some self-defense ammo through it. We can look at the weight real quick on it. We'll do empty weight, no magazine. And let's see here. 19.1 ounces. $15.59 ounces. $21.9 ounces. So let's go back. 21.9. 19. So yeah, it's a bit heavier than a 43. Closer to the 19X would be. So it's not the lightest gun, but it's not the heaviest gun either. So there you go, guys. It's the Taurus G2C. Doesn't fit Glock mags. And can't get it to rack without some cartridges up in there in the magazine. The magazine, this gun, if the magazine is full, just even a light tap like that will rack the slide. So that was a bit interesting. You can do it with the Glocks too if you hit it a little bit harder. But yeah, I think I covered it all. Again, this could be a viable carry weapon, especially if you're on a budget or you're just looking to try to get into it. You know, I think this is a great gun for the price, and I think it looks cool too. And of course they come in black, and I think you can get them in FDE like this one or whatever, and that kind of thing. So yeah, guys, if you have any questions or comments, post them down below. I tend to answer all my comments and stuff. And I got some cool things on the horizon here. I've been working with a few manufacturers, distributors, whatever you want to call them, and got some cool things coming up. So very excited about that, and should be doing a lot more gun content in the future and all that good stuff. So if you guys are interested in more of that, make sure and hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, you know, because the YouTube thing, guns. So see you guys.